Hey everyone, Kathy the Vegan Prepper here, and tonight I'm bringing you into my kitchen and I'm going to show you, this is a real kitchen video, it's not fancy at all, but I'm going to show you exactly how I make what we affectionately call Tardis pasta in my house. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Vegan prepper, vegan prepper. All right, my water is about to boil. This is called my Tardis pasta recipe because basically it's a baked pasta, and for whatever reason I have discovered that I can take the same pound of pasta that would normally not be enough to feed my family if I were to cook it and leave it loose so that people could serve themselves, you know, on a plate or in a bowl. And so that would not be enough, but somehow if I take that same pound of pasta and I mix the sauce in and I bake it, it becomes not only enough to feed us, but there are leftovers. And I don't know how it works. It's some sort of shift in the space-time continuum or something. Maybe Doctor Who would be able to figure it out, but it is Tardis pasta for that reason, because it's just something that's just sort of magical happens and it ends up being bigger on the inside somehow. So basically, I'm going to take a pound of pasta. That's what I always used to do, but lately, for whatever reason, I've been doing 20 ounces. I don't think it's necessarily necessary, but that is what I have been doing. And because I buy my pasta in bulk, that is very easy for me to do. But if you just have, you know, a box of a pound of pasta, just use that and it's fine. I used that. That's what I did for a long time. I don't know why I sort of started doing 20 instead. I can't tell you. It wasn't like necessary. I just have started doing it that way instead. I don't know if it's made it a little thicker. I don't know. Do what you want. But I also have one of these pre-made sauce packet mixes. I have this actually in, I think, one of my more recent videos. It was like 4 make ahead mixes. I can link it down below and it's got all the information for this, but I'll also put that in the description box. And so that plus 2 cans of tomato paste and a little over 3 cups of water will make my sauce. I'll just heat that through and then my sauce will be finished, and it's so easy and so fast. This recipe is not one for when you need dinner done quickly. So if you're having a last minute moment and you're like, I need dinner on the table in 20 minutes, that's not what this recipe is. This recipe is more, I need dinner prep itself to not take very long at all. And believe me, it doesn't take long at all. Actually, my water is already boiling. It's gonna take me longer tonight because I'm filming it and explaining it as I go. But basically you get everything mixed together, you toss it in a pan, throw it in the oven for an hour. And even though that is, speaking of, I need to turn my oven on. But even though that takes a long time as far as the cooking part of it, it's all completely hands-off time. So for days like today, for instance, I've had a very busy day. I've been working all day long on Etsy orders, driving kids to and fro, doing stuff, and I still have other household things that need to be done. I need to put laundry away. I need to do a few other things that I haven't had a chance to do because I've been doing other work. So this dinner is going to buy me that time a little bit, so while dinner is cooking and I don't have to think about it because it's just in the oven, I don't have to pay attention, I can be doing the other things that I need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and weigh out my pasta. I just have a little kitchen scale and I put a bowl on it and tare it and weigh it. This is just the way that we do our pasta now because we buy our pasta in bulk on Azure Standard. I'm using the Tinkyata brown rice fusilli. It's kind of like a really long macaroni. It's kind of a cool shape. I'll show you guys in a second once I'm weighing it. And I'll get that into my pot. So typically it takes about 9 minutes to cook. So this is true with whatever pasta you're going to use. Go ahead and undercook it. So I'll probably only cook it for about 6 minutes. Like I said, it's gonna be like really fast once it gets in there. And in that time, I will be able to put my sauce together, and then we'll just kind of go from there. So I need to go ahead and get started on this project and figure out what am I going to be filming, what am I going to be showing you, but we'll do that in just a second. Okay, so just turning it on with the bowl in place, we'll tare it, and then here's my fusilli. And so, like I said, it's kind of like long macaroni. It's just good. It's a good shape. I find that a lot of times pasta shapes that are maybe a little bigger, they work a little better. So something like this, or even like a penne, or a rotini will work well. But I also have the tinkyata shells, and those don't work as well because they're very small. So it's like something that will create a little bit of structure is kind of more what you're looking for. But I'm just going to go ahead and weigh this out and get it into my pot. All right, so water and tomato paste is in there. Also some leftover tofu that I had from lunch. I crumbled it up and I'm just adding it to the sauce. I just had it. It was kind of like not enough to save for another meal. So I just crumbled it up and added it, and it'll be good. But that's not necessary. I actually used to make this all of the time just with black beans. So for instance, there is TVP in this mix, but you don't have to have TVP. A few lentils, or even like what I just did, crumbled up tofu, works out marvelously well. It ends up being almost like a ricotta cheese type thing if you crumble it up and just add it in. I have a lasagna recipe that is based upon a tofu ricotta, quote unquote. And it turns out very good. The texture is delicious. So if you don't like tofu, this is a really great way to potentially try it. And I bet you will end up liking it. And so basically this, I'm going to let it heat through as much as it can in the next, I don't know, two minutes. Yeah, on my timer. This is where I am. I set it for 6 minutes. And so from setting this timer to this point, it took what, like 3 or 4 minutes. And then I've got pasta going in here. And basically the second this pasta is done, I will mix some sauce in and get it into a pan. And that, I still haven't turned on my oven. Oh my goodness. And that reminds me, I need to get my pan ready. So yeah, like I said, it's so fast. Normally I'm not trying to film. Normally it just kind of goes like clockwork, and it takes me maybe 10 minutes, maybe, to get this entire meal into the oven. And it ends up being a pretty substantial meal. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with it, and we use it all the time. That's why I'm trying to share it with you. It's just a very helpful thing to have on hand. And like I said, the fact that it's kind of Tardis pasta, and you can make that same amount of pasta that normally wouldn't feed your family, actually feed your family, it helps your pasta stores to last a little longer. And yeah, it's just like win-win-win all around. My timer's about to go off. I need to get my pan out. Okay, pasta has been drained. I'm not 100% sure what to tell you to look for, so I'm just gonna do this right now. Basically, I always pour a little bit of sauce in the bottom of the pan where I just pulled out the pasta to help the pasta not stick once I put it back in. So there's pasta. Sorry for the clumsy one-handedness and also for my dirty stove. But basically, I'm not going to pour all of this sauce in, but I'm going to do enough that we get kind of a nice, not sopping wet, but you know, not at all dry pasta. So I'm not, like I said, I can't tell you 100% what I'm looking for. I just sort of know it when I see it. And this actually already looks pretty good. I can see maybe just a little extra sauce. So because the pasta is a bit undercooked, it's going to soak up some of that sauce. It's going to be so delicious. And yeah, you know, I might add just a tad more, just to be sure. And then whatever's left, I will have on the stove, and we'll heat that back up just before we serve. And then we can put a little extra sauce on top. A lot of times my family really likes to have extra of that sauce on top. It's quite delicious. So I'm going to go dump this into my pan, which is over here. And so I don't bother greasing it at all. It's just ready to go as is. This is technically a 9 by 10, or not a 9, sorry, a 10 by 13 pan rather than a 9 by 13 pan. I picked it up at IKEA. So even that gives me like one extra little inch, like just a little extra, which makes it feel like you have a few more servings. And I did do 20 ounces of pasta instead of 16. I think I already talked about that. I don't know that it's necessarily 100% necessary. But you know what? This might be the reason I started adding just a little, because the pan itself is bigger than a 9 by 13. But anyway, even that, like I said, it just helps you get maybe a few extra servings. And so I'm just going to dump my pasta in, and I'm not going to do that while I'm filming. Now that it's in here, I'm basically just going to spread it flat and press it. And then we're going to end up with a solid kind of cohesive mass once it has baked. And yeah, it'll just be super yummy. So I'm going to cover this up with foil. And like I said, that's going to go into the oven for about an hour. But, you know, pasta's not good enough all on its own. So I will show you, I guess just there's going to be a baking sheet with 2 pounds of frozen broccoli on it. And that's going to bake at the same time. And then I'll have basically a complete meal once it's all done. Here's the tray of broccoli. This is just 2 bags of 2 pounds of frozen broccoli, 1 bag each of 1 pound of broccoli on a tray. I'm not entirely sure what the size is. It's like a 15 by something, kind of standard cookie sheet. And so basically I just put a little parchment down. I throw on my frozen broccoli. I do salt. I do nutritional yeast. And it's delicious. There's no oil or anything. It's not needed. This will go underneath the dish that has the pasta in it. And so that is part of why possibly for me it ends up taking about an hour for this whole thing to be completely finished. If you were not doing a tray of frozen vegetables underneath your container, your tray of pasta, it likely would only take about 40 minutes, maybe even a half hour. You could start, you know, push it, like check it and see if it's ready sooner. But for me, like I said, it's just sort of, I like to have everything in there, and now I can forget about it and go do the other things that I need to do. So this is going to go ahead and head into the oven, and I'm gonna go put laundry away. So that's my destiny while this is cooking. It's amazing. Also, my pot becomes my opportunity to finish up the little hand wash dishes that accumulate. And so I'm just, also all the dishes that can be dishwashered are in the dishwasher already. And now I'm just about to quickly, this will take me less than 5 minutes, quickly clean up all of the other dishes. So not only am I going to have a dinner that is fully made when everything comes out of the oven, I'm not even going to have any prep dishes to deal with. So this whole thing is like basically a little present that I give to myself, and it's delicious. So anyway, yeah, I feel like I have to share. Like, this is just fantastic. Here is everything out of the oven. I've uncovered this. And so there's the baked pasta as it looks, all finished. Finished roasted broccoli. I'm having to stop myself from just grabbing it and eating it, which is of course a good problem to have, being that it is broccoli. And then the sauce was already, you know, I've already reheated it, and then it's just really thick, so it's taking a while to stop bubbling. But yeah, basically we're gonna go ahead and serve this up, and I'll show you guys what it looks like all served up. Here are our first plates, and we are definitely ready to dig in. So like I said, a lot of us really like to have the extra sauce on top, so we just have a little bit of extra sauce on top, but I also decided to show you what it looks like without the sauce, so that you can see that, yeah, it is, you know, a piece now. And somehow, like I said, slicing into that, eating it this way is somehow so much more filling than eating it as a loose pasta. And I can't explain why. But yes, that tray will give us leftovers. But anyway, yeah, we're ready to dig in. So here we go. All right, it's the next morning. Here's how much we have left over after people packed their lunches. Full disclosure, my oldest son did not eat any of this last night, but this still comfortably fed about 4 people with seconds and then lunch. So it's just kind of a miraculous thing to me. So not only was I able to accomplish everything that I needed to accomplish last night while this dinner was cooking, I got all my laundry put away, I got some other stuff caught up in the house. Sage and I had a great time dancing around like fools to some songs on Spotify. I got to have some really fun time with my daughter just while this was in the oven, and I was free to not only take care of my family in physical ways like the laundry and all that, but also to take care of my daughter in an emotional way, right? To meet that need of quality time with mom. And so this recipe feels like it's been a real gift in my life. to help me accomplish a lot of the things that I need to do while also maintaining, I don't know, just health and happiness. And so hopefully it ends up being the same thing for you. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed that. And as always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. See you in the next one. Bye.